and you thought you had a dysfunctional family. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today I'm going to be giving you my review on the new movie, Ready or Not. So, Ready or Not, basically the plot of this film, for those who haven't seen the trailer, is you have this girl who's getting married to this guy. He belongs to this really rich, eccentric, strange family that they have this family tradition where someone new comes into the family, they have to play a game. And the person who's getting initiated into the family, they're the ones who end up picking from this, special box what game they're going to end up playing. And of course, as it has it, Samara Weaving's character, who plays the wife, she ends up picking the worst possible game to play, and that is a deadly game of hide and seek, where basically the groom's family has to try and hunt her and kill her before dawn, or something really bad will happen to the family. So this was something that I remember when the trailer came out a couple months ago, earlier this year, that I saw it and was like, okay, this is cool. It's something that's an idea that I feel like hasn't been done 50 million times. It's not something like all the paranormal movies that we've gotten like the last several years, all the remakes. It's something that's definitely a little fresh. So I was really looking forward to this, just to have something a little bit different. And one of the first things that I'll tell you guys that I really enjoyed about the film is just that they kind of, they give a backstory and explanation kind of as to why this whole thing came about and why this family continues to play these games, up to this day. And that was just, that was a nice little detail that I thought that they, did a good job, because that's something I feel like that they could have been really lazy about, and that would have just, really lowered the film. But they didn't. They definitely added some nice details, some nice backstory there, so that was definitely a plus for me. Another thing that I really enjoyed was Samara Weaving's character. Again, she plays the wife in the film, and I am not super familiar with a lot of her other films. I know she was in The Babysitter that was on Netflix. I've yet to see that. If you guys have seen it, without doing any spoilers, let me know what you guys thought of that movie, because I definitely got to check that out. But I'm not really familiar with her work, like I was saying. So this was really my first time getting to see her, in a film, and I thought that she was definitely my favorite aspect of the film. She, from the start, when she kind of realizes what's going on with this family, she goes from being kind of, scared shitless as anybody would in this situation. And, throughout the film, by the third act, she really kind of, turns into a badass. And because she has to kind of overcome all these different obstacles and fight these different members of the family. So she was definitely a standout performance for me, and I can't wait to see what she's going to be doing in the future, because she was definitely one of the highlights of the film. Something else that I thought this film did well overall is that there's definitely a lot of dark comedy, and then the horror thriller aspects mixed in, and I thought they did a pretty good job of walking that line of kind of injecting both of those in at the appropriate times. When it was funny, it was really funny. There's definitely a good amount of banter back and forth between different people. Some of them aren't exactly the brightest bulbs in the bunch, and that was pretty funny. It's not like they do this game all the time. They don't do this every night, so some of them are definitely a little bit more rusty than others. So that whole aspect was just really funny. But then when it did want to get down to business and be a little bit more serious, it was able to do that as well. And that's something that, especially with, horror comedies, can sometimes be a little hard to pull off, but I thought they did a pretty good job as far as that goes. The directing and just the way the film was shot, everything looked really nice, especially inside the mansion. The lighting and everything was definitely on point. So that really added to the film for me as well. One of the things that I'll mention that's a little bit, not so much like the movie itself, it's more, I'd say, the marketing. So if you guys haven't seen the trailer, try and stay away from it. I know this movie has a decent amount of buzz, like just by itself. So if you've just heard of it, try and stay away from the trailer, because there are several kills that they show in the trailer, and that's a good amount of them that are in the movie that they do ruin, which I feel like if I hadn't seen that, was just kind of going into this movie for the most part blind, that would have really added to the movie as well. There is definitely a couple other ones in the film that you don't see in the trailer, but I think that definitely takes away from it a little bit, just because you're like, yep, yeah, I saw that already, so it's not like a shock or as big of a deal. One of the other characters that I really liked in the film too, I mentioned Samara Weaving already, but Adam Brody's character, he was another standout for me. And one of the things that, with his character and then a couple other characters in the film, you could see that some of them were definitely a little bit more, they weren't really sure if that this was a good thing, that they were doing. They were definitely struggling with this whole idea of, sacrificing people. So just to make sure that the family doesn't, something bad doesn't happen to them. There was definitely some others though that you could tell that they enjoyed this, but I like that struggle, the balance between the two different sides of that definitely added to the film, because if they were all just, they all just wanted to kill people, it definitely wouldn't have had as much, depth to it. So that was something that was a nice little touch too. Now, overall as a movie, I had a good time with the film. I would say might have been a little overhyped for me, because, I did see, some of the scores and early reviews, and, it was like a 90%, I think, like on Rotten Tomatoes. So I had fairly high expectations, and, that's probably a little bit on myself. It was definitely still a good time, though. I think that it's worth checking out in the theaters. I don't know if I will be picking it up necessarily when it comes out on Blu-ray, but there is definitely some good aspects of this film, and, I do want to praise them for doing something that's a little bit, more original and not just, rehashing some of the same stuff we've gotten over and over again over the past couple years. And the ending is pretty funny, which that was something that I was worried about with this film too. Just, I was wondering if they were going to go a certain way with the direction, and they did, and it definitely paid off, because quite a few people in the audience were, I think enjoyed it as well. So overall, had a good time with the film. Just definitely not something that I think is going to be at the top of my list at like the end of the year. And don't know if I'm going to necessarily be picking it up when it comes out, but it was good to watch it at least once. So I would say, go check out the film, make up, your own opinion. And if you guys have seen the movie, let me know what you guys think down below of the film in the comments. Try and, keep spoiler free, just because this film literally just came out. I was actually surprised that the showing I went to tonight was sold out, which was really surprising considering it came out, on a Wednesday night. Something else I want to mention too, and this is kind of a little off topic, but something I want to mention is just that, please guys, if you're going to the movie theaters, make sure that you've either showered or you're wearing some kind of deodorant or something, along the lines of that. And I don't try not to be rude, but the theater that I was at, I ended up sitting next to someone who I could just smell them the whole movie. And that just kind of took me out of it a little bit, and I couldn't go anywhere because, like I said, the theater was full. So please, if you're going to go to the movies, just, shower, put some deodorant on. Thank you. Everyone else will thank you that is sitting around you as well. But anyways, as far as an overall score, I'm going to give this film a solid 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, let me know what you guys thought down below in the comments. And as always, guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that bell button as well next to it, just so that way you guys get notifications for all my upcoming new videos. I'm really excited. It is, the fall season is coming up, and I have a lot of, different videos, different things that I want to do for the channel to celebrate my favorite time of the year. So can't wait to share that with you guys soon. And like I say, as always, guys, make sure to check back for more Prop Culture with Pat.